So it's wonderful that you can share your story and your updates since we talked 14 months ago.
Yes.
For people,
14 months,
huh?
14 months ago. Wow, it's a
It's,
long time ago.
yeah, going back with all the speakers, it's amazing how many things we've been doing and how many things changed for good and for bad. Yeah, for
Yeah.
you, many good things. I think apart from your grandmother who died in between.
Yes, she did. She passed away last April in 2019. And then, I had decided I was going to run 100 miles in one day to hit a goal of reaching $100,000 in donations in her honor of after she passed. So that was something I was thinking about the last time we talked, and then something I implemented, and then I started training last year, and I was able to complete that 100-mile run on a track on November 3rd and 4th of last year.
Yes, you were already doing a virtual run back then, right? You were ahead of your time.
Yeah, yes, because I wanted to get people involved in running and in a virtual platform. Anyone could run from wherever they were and try to help with raising donations as well. And yeah, it was a great event. And the virtual event that I put together was having a individual or a group try to run 100 miles in a month, and really matching the 100 miles I'd be doing in a day.
Exactly. And how many people joined?
I think we had about 30 people that joined that virtual run, and we probably raised like $1,000 or so.
Wow.
But it's really about the community, and I always think about the quality of people over quantity at times.
Exactly.
And everyone counts, and it was great to just even be a part of with those 30 people.
Yeah. So I'll jump back a little bit for the people who don't know anything about you and who haven't seen the recording from last year. The recording from last year is in the expo booth. Every speaker that we are talking to has their own booth, so you can ask anything to Jay or here in the chat or later on in the expo booth. And if he's not around because it's 24/7, then I'll make sure he sees it later and he'll catch up with you, right?
Yes, for sure, definitely.
Yeah, so well, we talked with 30 speakers last year in March, and we were all badass runners who do the most incredible things, and it's amazing what you all have accomplished since then. It is something in the genes, definitely. It's not average, but what I want to emphasize today and the whole week is that you started from somewhere. Also, it's not like you started like a big born star.
No.
No, you started with one marathon in New York.
Yep, 2015. Yeah. So I started in 2015. I had gotten to a place where I wasn't doing much of the things I wanted to do, and I was just sitting on the couch all the time. And I go to work 5 days a week, and then on the weekend it was just sitting on the couch and having some drinks, and time was flying by, and I always wanted to run a New York City Marathon. And one day I just felt like if I didn't sign up then, I would never do it. And I remember March of 2015, I hit the button to say I'm going to run that New York City Marathon. And with that, I trained that year. I probably ran 3 days a week, and I probably drank 3 nights a week. And that was my training for the marathon. And as I was training, mentally, I just didn't think I could run 26.2 miles. So I started reading books and watching documentaries. And one of the documentaries that I watched was Running the Sahara, which Charlie Engle is one of my favorite people. And I watched that, and for them to run 50 miles a day for 111 days across the Sahara, I was like, I could run 26.2 miles in one day through New York City. I could do that. And I just kept watching and feeding my mind what other people were doing that was so much more extraordinary or longer than 26.2 miles. And I got the marathon done, and I did it maybe in 5 hours. Not a great time, not a bad time. And I enjoyed the run. And then after that, I just started thinking, man, there's so much more I could do if I really apply myself. And yeah, I don't drink 3 nights a week, and I eat right, and do it for a cause. And that's when I came up with the Ann Asparro run. And my grandmother was living with Alzheimer's at the time. And I wanted to raise money and create a platform to let other people know about my grandmother as well as the disease and what the caregivers are going through. So for me, I just didn't think a marathon or a half marathon would give me that platform that I wanted for my grandmother. And at the time, my grandmother was 90 years old. And that's when I decided I was going to run 90 miles over 3 days and do, 26.2 miles one day, 31.4 miles the next, and then 29.4 miles the last day, equaling 90 miles. And I just went back to Charlie Angle and what he did, and now he still did 50 miles a day for 111 days, and I'm just doing a little over a marathon a day for 3 days. And I did it.
Yeah.
And
never compare yourself. Well, it's good to compare if it's if it's a way of inspiring you, but you should not really compare because everyone is unique. And look where you came, because it was just a start.
Yeah, and I learned throughout that year it doesn't matter. You can't compare yourself to other people. This was my race, and this is something that I wanted to do, and my heart was totally into it. So I was willing to sacrifice everything for this. And I lost friends, and I've lost just because they didn't understand what I was doing and why I would give up so much to help others, I think. And but I did realize how many people I was able to help, and we raised $38,000 for the Long Island Alzheimer's Foundation that year. So I felt like I had to keep going. And then the next year I decided, to create another platform, because you're not your past. So I can't ask for donations because I ran 90 miles in 2016, in 2017. That's when I decided I was going to run 50 miles the day before the New York City Marathon, which 2 years earlier, I didn't think I would even be able to run 26.2 miles. And now I'm going to run 50 miles the day before it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then I'm not going to, that year when I started out training, I went on a trail run, and I was enjoying my trail run, looking around, and I rolled my ankle, and I tore ligaments in my ankle. And this was in April, and now people are telling me I shouldn't run. Doctors telling me I can't run for 4 months. But it doesn't matter what other people say. It's what was I willing to do? And then I got on a bike, and I got into the pool, and I started doing hot yoga because I couldn't run. So over these next 3 months, I did other things to keep my endurance up. And then I was able to start running again, and I was able to run, 50 miles in one day. And then I showed up for the New York City Marathon the next day. I had, IT band issues. My knee, I couldn't bend my leg. And I'm walking up to the New York City Marathon, and all of these runners are so excited and they're happy. And I'm dragging my leg to the starting line. And then it starts raining, and it's cold. And I knew it was going to be a long day, but it wasn't about me. It was about my grandmother, all the caregivers out there. And, it was a very difficult day, but I got it done.
Yeah, it's amazing. And of course, the atmosphere helped you, but no one knew what you had been going through already.
Right. So the atmosphere was, it was good and bad because nobody knew. And I was going into the medical tents, and then I tell people, I ran 50 miles yesterday. I can't bend my knee. Can I have some help? And they're like, you ran 50 miles yesterday? Was you crazy? So, and I am a little, but yeah, they were helping me. But the environment was great, but it was a difficult day. One of the hardest days that I ever had. And I actually saved my shoes. I never save anything from, like my runs rarely. And I saved those shoes because I knew how much. I still have the Gatorade cups that they give you for water.
Yeah.
And it was so much rain going on that all those cups everyone was stopping on, that they're stuck and embedded in the bottom of my running shoes from that day. So I saved the shoes just to remind me that on your worst days, you could still get through it. You just got to keep moving forward.
Amazing. You can start a whole museum.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and to your point, we talked about earlier, everybody has greatness inside of them, and it's just a matter of getting it out. And as we're all badass runners, we all we have that inside of us, and anyone can do this. It's just a matter of, taking each day and making it the best. And then over time, it starts to add up. But you got to make every day the best day.
Yeah, I think you are a master in being consistent. If I see what you have been doing the last few months during the lockdown, it is so inspiring. It is amazing. I mean, the first challenge that you did, I think you were inspired by David Goggins, right?
Yes, yes, yeah. So he would do 4 miles run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. Now I have a 7 and a 4-year-old at my home, and we're in quarantine and lockdown, and I rarely get any breaks. So I just could not do that type of challenge. But I just switched it up a little. And what I did for me, because of my life is different than David Goggins, is that every 6 hours I would rotate a 4-mile run, and then I would get on the bike and do a 40-minute ride on my bike on my trainer in my basement. And I did that every 6 hours for 48 hours. And it was difficult, but it was my own challenge, and I got it done. And you just got to keep challenging yourself.
And you hardly slept.
No, it wasn't that much sleep. No. So you figure at 6 p.m., I started my run on a Friday, and then it was every 6 hours. So at 12 a.m., I got on my bike and I rode, and then 6 a.m. was a ride, and 12 p.m. was a run, and it just kept rotating, and I get like an hour nap between. But
so what about your family? Your wife must be very supportive, and your kids as well, I guess.
They are, yes, they are at times. So that's what with me, it's like their lives are just as important as mine. So I have to change my training around their lifestyle. So I get up at 5 a.m. to be able to do a 3-hour run or a 3-hour ride, to be back at 8:30 in the morning, and I could have the whole day with them. And then even with training for the 100-mile run, if I had to do 2 runs in a day, or I had a really long run, I'd do one in the morning before they got up. And then when they went to bed at 8:30 at night, I'd go out for another hour run from 8:30 at night to 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. And that's just what I had to do to get the training in. And the thing that helped with that was when I got to the day of the run, I knew all the sacrifice I had put in. So there was nothing that was going to stop me from running those 100 miles because of the tough time I had to, with my schedule and training.
I remember that you told about all the workarounds that you came up with to keep training, although you were injured at some point and even you broke. You did cryotherapy, you did all kind of things. And I was thinking this week, you cannot do all that right now. You cannot go to the hot yoga. You cannot go to the cryo because it's all closed right now, especially in New York, I guess. You're still quite closed down, locked down, right?
Yeah, we are in lockdown. I go to Restore Wellness, which is, I do cryotherapy. And then another great thing that I do there is hyperbaric chamber to help the oxygen flow to any injured areas. But I can't do that now. And I could really tell you, now that I'm still training really hard, I'm having a hard time with my body. And now I realize and how grateful I am for that facility, because it really does help my recovery. But now I'm doing, ice baths with, ice in the bath, which hurts a lot compared to a cryo chamber.
Yeah.
I'm taking Epsom salt baths. I'm stretching every day like I always do. And I'm foam rolling. I have a hyper ice gun that I just try to massage my legs. But yeah, it's not the same now with quarantine, my recovery. But, 3 weeks ago, I was running for a 9-mile run. I did like an 8:20 pace. And I'm not a fast runner, but I've been getting fast. Today, I did a 9-mile run, and it was a 9:45 pace. And it's just because my legs, they're not recovering as fast as I'd like.
No.
But the most important thing is I got out there and I ran. That's it. It doesn't matter how fast, how slow, it's got to go.
Yeah, but I think that is really remarkable how you keep yourself motivating and keep going through, because you still have your job as well. Huh?
Yes, I do. So I'm working right now, and I'm so grateful that I have a job during the quarantine, and I'm working. And then with the kids, they're not going to school, so I'm juggling with them. And So I'm getting my training in early in the morning, and yeah, we're just grateful, and I don't look in the past, and I can't look too far in the future. So I just make today the best day. I got my 9-mile run in. It's the weekend. It's raining outside. The kids are watching some movies. I'm going to do some stretches in a little bit and my foam rolling. And then tomorrow when I wake up, I have a 3-hour bike ride followed by a 15-minute run. And that's what I'm concentrating on. I can't go too far down the line, and I can't look in the past. And that's how I get through it.
But you set your goals already for this year. Past
Yeah. So this year, and we didn't talk about this earlier, but in 2018, a fear of mine was swimming. So I decided to sign up for Ironman because, why not? If you're scared of drowning, join an event that has a 2.4-mile swim in the beginning. And it kind of forces you to get over your fear. And I swam every day. I became a good swimmer, not a great swimmer. And the day of that particular race at Lake Placid Ironman, the 2.4-mile swim, I got swam over. I got kicked in the side of my head, and then I got an elbow to the back of my head, and I ingested so much lake water that I just started vomiting in the water. And unfortunately, I trained every single day for 7 months, and then I had to get taken out by a boat from the race, and my race day was over. And after that, what I did was I was done with that race. I couldn't do the 112-mile bike, but I decided to get my running shoes, and I ran a marathon that day on my own, which was one of the hardest things that I've had to do because I'm out of a race. The race is still going on, and I'm running around all these fans, and they don't know what I'm doing and why I'm running. But I knew I was doing it for Alzheimer's and the people back home, and I didn't have any support, so I brought a credit card, and I was stopping at local stores to get my nutrition and water because everything else was in my bags, and I didn't have anything. And I got that run done for 26.2 miles. And then 6 weeks later, I went back to Lake Placid, and I did a half Ironman. So in the back of my head, these last 2 years, I had to complete an Ironman. And this year, I signed up for a full Ironman that's supposed to happen September 2020. But it hasn't been canceled yet. But all these other Ironmans have been canceled, and I'm predicting my Ironman is going to be canceled. So with that, I'm still training because even if they do cancel it, I'm going to do my own Ironman. There's a place close to where I live, there's a bay. I'll get my swim in. I'll do a 112-mile bike ride on my own, and I'll run a marathon. Just because the circumstance that I want, may be canceled, I can dictate how I'm going to challenge myself to that circumstance. Yep. I'm going to go for it.
There you go. That's
yeah.
Spirit.
Yeah. Got to keep going. It doesn't, they could tell me it's over, but I could still do what I want to do, and I could still do my race.
Definitely.
It won't be with fans and spectators, but
yeah.
So that's why I still go. I'm still training hard and see what happens.
Well, if it's still going through, but you have already trained for doing it on your own, then definitely you're going to get through it because then your preparation is perfect.
Yeah. And I guess I take it one day at a time, and I love the process. I love training, and it's not about the medals, and it's not about anything else. It's about the process.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it. I've grown over these last 5 years learning about, the process. But I'm also doing it this year. I've decided that I'm going to raise awareness for cystic fibrosis from this Ironman, which through my running, I was able to get connected with, at the time, he was 14 years old, and he had cystic fibrosis, which is a lung disorder where he only has limited lung function, and he wanted to run a half marathon. And I heard about his story, so I reached out and said I'd coach him because I knew nothing about cystic fibrosis. And with that, Michael Caruso Davis and I, we ran in 2017 the New York City half together, and he was only 14 years old.
Wow.
And he had 80% lung function. And he inspires me to be great every day.
Only 8?
He was 14.
No, but
14 years old.
The lung function?
80%.
OT.
AT, 80.
Okay, yeah, it's still not that much, but I thought 8. I think that's impossible.
Yeah, no. And the great thing is we inspire each other because, he's grateful for every day he has. And, if I don't want to go running one day, I think about him. Like I have perfect lung function
Yeah,
and I could easily go run. And for him, it's like breathing through a straw.
yeah,
Right. And I'm like, what am I have to complain? Just get up and get out.
yeah.
And over the past 3 years, we've run 2 more half marathons. And then last year, he was the youngest person at 16 years old to run the Chicago Marathon with cystic fibrosis.
Oh,
And yeah, I ran it with him as a training run for me for my 100-mile run. But I got to see what he was doing for the cystic fibrosis community. He made history last year, and I got to run next to him, which was amazing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. How many people struggle with that? I've heard of it. I know someone in Holland who cope with it as well, but it's not very common, eh?
It's a rare disease. I think, in the United States, it's about 30,000 people. And then globally, it's probably like 70,000 people. So it's a rare disease, but I think the average life expectancy is 36 years old.
Yeah.
So very young age. And, the great thing about training and running and cystic fibrosis is it clears the lung airways. So Michael, every year from the ages of 3 to 14, he had to be hospitalized for at least 6 months. Since we started running over the last 3 years, he has not been hospitalized.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing. That's amazing.
it is, and it's all he does his treatments and his medication, and he trains and he runs, and it's the whole everything that he does that keeps him out of the hospital. But the running is very significant to
Wow.
his health.
And did he also change something in his diet, or does he do extra exercises, especially for his lungs or something?
So he does play lacrosse, which is a sport in the U.S. or all around the world. So he does play that. He's also an avid surfer, and the salt water is really in the air by a beach is really good for his lungs.
Ah,
So that has helped as well. Uh, we're both trying to work together. He loves cooking, and we're trying to move over to plant-based foods together.
ah,
So he made a bean mushroom burger recently that I can't wait to. I have to make my own, use his recipe to make my burgers. But he is very good about what he puts in his mouth.
ah, amazing.
Yeah.
That's so nice that you met each other. So coincidence, right?
Yes. Yeah. And him and his family keep thanking me for what I do for him, and it's like I keep thanking them for what he has done for me because he helps me in my training and he inspires me and we pick each other up and I think we push each other and I'm 40 years old and he's 16 17 right now, so there's
Yeah,
a big age difference, but we have this connection about training and doing the right thing and being grateful, and
yeah,
it's an amazing relationship. And he just did his first 40-mile bike ride last weekend.
yeah. I know.
Yeah, which is
Virtually
cool.
with the three of you, right? With his father and you.
Yeah. Because he wanted to, we were supposed to do New York City has a 40-mile bike ride and they canceled it. And he was doing this to raise awareness and create a platform for cystic fibrosis. But just because it was canceled, as him and I are like, we keep going, we don't stop. It may not be in New York City, but he still did it. We social distance. We live about 300 miles away from each other. And I did it here. He did it where he lives. And it was just a great day.
Yeah. He looks amazingly fit, I must say. So he looks very healthy. If you didn't know, yeah, you would think he would be a top sport or something. He looks really,
Yeah.
yeah. He looks older for his age as well. So I thought he was older.
Yeah. And that's the thing with the disease. He looks healthy, but he's got a lot, going on underneath. And not everybody knows that. So,
Yeah,
yeah, it's just been a great relationship. We inspire each other. And the Chicago Marathon was awesome. He did that at 16 years old. And I keep thinking that when I was 16, no way would I even think about running a marathon.
No, that's why I say he looks older. I mean, older in the way of grown up.
Yeah.
He looks so responsible, and he's so passionate about what he does and how he does it. That's I hear from your story as well. Of course, I don't know him personally, but
yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah. So, do you have two passions now that you run and train for, or did you, because your grandmother died, did you? Is that like, let's say, closed chapter?
So yeah, I felt like over the last 4 years, I've done everything I could for the Long Island Alzheimer's and now in Dementia Center. And this year I wanted to, because my grandmother passed and we raised $100,000 for the foundation, I felt like it was a good time that maybe I could use my running and training to create a platform for cystic fibrosis. But the organization, what they do for the community, and the people that are caregivers for Alzheimer's and dementia, I mean, they'll always have a big place in my heart. And listen, nothing's ever final. I think after this year, there could be another event that I'd love to do for Alzheimer's. This particular year, though, I felt like cystic fibrosis was something I needed to do.
Yeah.
And I'll do other little events to raise money. Like, well, we wanted to do a bingo event, but with the quarantine, things have been canceled and we can't get in groups. So, I'm trying to figure out a way how I could still help the foundation.
Yeah, yeah. I created running guides from every continent to get an update of all the races, and I was quite surprised how many races already have been rescheduled. Yeah. So, are there goals that you have? You had plans to go to Italy last year. You rescheduled that, but what are your ideas and plans about running marathon, triathlon, or other challenges that you create yourself abroad? Do you think we can do that in the future? How do you see all that?
Yeah, I hope. I mean, running across Italy would be, it's where my grandparents' families are from. So I was going to run from one city where my grandfather's family is from to my grandmother's family, which was 167 miles across Italy. And it's just the unknown, right? I don't know when we'll be able to go back to do something like that. I would love that opportunity. I also love, things on my mind I'd love to do here, like the Western States 100-mile run. Like, those are things I never even thought I could ever do. But the more I train and I'm running and I'm learning and I keep watching the documentaries, it's something it starts to feed more into what I can do. And then the great thing is, you keep doing the right thing every day, something will come to me, and an idea will come. And then, if I feel passionate about it, I could come up with something else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. Well, I like how you see new opportunities every time, and even if you're restricted in the most incredible ways, then you still find a way out mentally and physically to keep training fit and keep yourself preparing for something new. And I like it that you found a new passion as well, and that you can help someone else. I hope, I don't know how the sickness is going to evolve. Of course, maybe they find enough research and so they can really cure those people. That will be wonderful, of course. But at least you make his quality of life a lot better, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. That's the thing with Alzheimer's and cystic fibrosis. There's no cure. And, that's two diseases that I try to raise awareness and a platform for, because it's tough on the families, and I think about the entire family and the caregiver, like Michael's mom and the rest of their family are so supportive, but, it's challenging for them too, as his mom, knowing that there's not a cure. And she fights and she creates a platform for him and goes to DC, Washington, DC, to try to raise awareness to help with medications, so that they're readily available for him and others with cystic fibrosis. And it's just two really difficult diseases on the entire family.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
And what about
It's still good, right? You can still do good things. We can still do good things to show that it's not all bad. And Michael's doing that, and I hope I'm doing that too. And yeah, so it's there are some good things in these difficult times.
Definitely, definitely. When are you going to open up, you think, in New York? Are there any plans for you in the near future that you can start training more outside, that you can go back to your cryo, that you can go back to the sauna or the hot
So
tub?
yes, I've been currently I've been biking outside and I've been running outside. I haven't been swimming at all, so I haven't swam in 4 months, which is going to be a challenge. But I'm hoping, the Recovery Restore Wellness will open up either June 1st or June 13th, or probably the 2 dates that we're looking at right now. And then as for swimming, the water here is really cold, so I'm hoping June 1st the weather will get better, and then I can start going out in the ocean and the bay just to train, because normally I'd be in the pool. I just don't think any of the public pools will be opening anytime soon, or even this summer. So we're hoping June 1st. New York has been hit really bad. It's been a tough place to be.
Yeah, exactly. We are just opening up now. Last week I got a message from my gym, and we start training again. Let's say outside, like kind of boot camp.
Sorry, say hello.
Is it? Hey, are you a runner as well?
Yeah, he loves running and he loves biking.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
He got the good genes.
Yeah. All right, bud, go back upstairs. Thank you.
And what about his sister?
Yeah, she's a runner and a biker too. They love following me when I'm running, or when I was biking in the basement. I was on my trainer, so I set up their bikes so they could ride next to me. So I put like platforms on their tires, so it was elevated, and they were just, riding next to me.
That's good.
But they never got tired,
That's wonderful. And how do you do that with the food when you're on the stationary bike?
I have like a Cliff Bar. I have a Cliff Bar, or some Gatorade. You can. So it's hard trading when they're like jumping on you all the time. But I have to say, during training, they help, right? So I'll run, let's say, 14 miles in the morning, and then all day I got to take care of them, and we're running around.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly on my feet. I'm constantly on the go, and I always felt like I may not be running or biking after I'm done with my run, but I'm still moving, and that's going to help me be on my feet with my 100-mile run last year.
Yeah. And no sedentary desk, but you work from home now as well, or you go to you work from home, right?
Yeah, I'm working from home. Sorry. Yeah, but this is life. This is what it's like.
Well, it's totally no problem at all. But so you work at home as well, and do you do that on a standing desk, or you have a regular table?
I have a regular table, so I've been just sitting at my desk and trying to make the best of it.
I build a self-built standing desk, and that helps a lot.
That's good.
But when I'm tired, when I have to do a lot of things sorting out, then I notice that I prefer a table. So it depends a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
But getting there, also getting rid of my injury finally. So
good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Finally. I think almost 1 week now without pain.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah, I kept going back and forward. Last time I spoke to you, I thought I had tackled it, and then it came back again in another way, and I was like, oh no, not again. It's not fun to train all the time with pain, but I think I finally tackled it. It's my hip, which is my weakness, and a lot of things come from there. It goes to my shoulder, it goes to my knee, it goes to my right ankle. It's amazing. Yeah, and he did the dry needling the last week, and since then, no pain, no nothing. So,
no. You're right? Like one injury could lead to other parts of the body because you're compensating. But That it's getting better.
It's a big puzzle, so you never know. Well, sometimes you know, but a lot of times you don't know where it really comes from, and then it's hard to cure it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've been struggling for 3 years, tried everything, and I'm glad that I can go to my physio again since last week. So he did dry needling, and that helped me, and I do exercises, of course, and yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, getting there. So, well, I hope that by the end of the week we have some ideas for everyone to find a new direction and to keep positive about everything, even though there's not a race coming up. Then still we can do a lot of training and a lot of progress in way in life and in training.
Yeah, it's just making each day the best day. And I've learned too, it's the more I train now, something's going to open up later on, and I'll be prepared and I'll be ready for it. If I stop now and just give in, then something comes up, then I won't be prepared for it, and I won't be able to do my own race if I stop now.
That's it. That's exactly it. Because then you want to do it, and all these months are gone. Yeah.
And every once in a while, you think September it could be canceled, and then why am I doing this? It's May. Why am I doing it if it's going to be canceled? And if you start thinking that way, it's easy not to get off the couch.
Yeah.
So now it's just I got to make today the best day.
Yeah, that's the spirit. Well, it's a very good message for all of us, I think, to complete this talk with. Hey, runner. Well, we see after this week how we continue with this, because we look for a model that we can keep inspiring and motivating and supporting people.
Yes.
It was great to have you during this first concept, and we keep you posted, and we keep in touch to see how we can continue with it. All right?
Yes, definitely. Whatever you need from me, I think what you're doing is absolutely amazing, connecting everyone and for a great cause, and everybody's doing great things. So it's good to be surrounded by great people doing great things. So thank you for what you do.
Well, we start small, but I know, you know that we got to start somewhere.
Yeah, just like race, right? Just like running. You just got to keep putting that one foot in front of the other, keep going forward.
And be consistent.
Keep getting better and better.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your time, and thank your son for his contribution. What's your name?
What's your name?
Oh, what a beautiful name. Well, he's still full of energy. I can see that.
Non-stop. He's just like me.
All right. Have a great day and take care. And I really hope that the world looks a bit better soon. But the way you oh, there's another one.
Yeah. Say hi, Olivia.
Hi.
You can imagine getting back from a 15-mile run.
Say it again?
No, getting back from a 15-mile run and these two jumping all over you.
Yeah, that's a great massage.
Sorry, but thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You're interrupting us, but this is life.
And talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.